gonna to start the HortLegend, and this our interview for Dr. Mary Lamberts, and we're gonna to ask several questions, and she gonna to tell us about her experience with ASHS, what is the ASHS mean to her, and what she can advise, like, the student and the young generation who is thinking to join the ASHS. So my first question would be, what is your horticulture specialization, and what are the primary position you have held?
So I have a PhD in vegetable crops from Cornell, but I also studied some pomology when I was at Cornell. I did tree fruits and small fruits. And then after I graduated, I moved to Homestead, Florida, and I learned about tropical fruit. And that came in handy because people would come in and ask questions, and I actually knew the fruits. But my primary position was as a commercial vegetable agent in Homestead, Florida, working with vegetable growers, and they grew everything from tomatoes to tropical sweet potatoes, things like that.
Yeah, thank you. So what has the horticulture mean to your life and career?
So I started as an English major, and when I was in the Peace Corps, I taught English as a foreign language in Thailand, and I decided I didn't want to do that. So I applied to graduate school and decided I wanted to study plants, and then I decided I wanted to study vegetables. So it totally changed the direction of my life. So
Wonderful. Actually, this is not the first time to hear that. I hear, like, one of our HortLegend Fred Demeter, if you know him, was a grammar English and master, and then he moved to Cetra. So what do you consider to be the most rewarding part of your career in horticulture?
well, there's a couple things. One was that I worked directly with growers, and they would come in with unusual questions. And amazingly, I knew a lot of the answers because I had learned it. And also, they would come in and they needed things identified like weeds. And I had had a class in weed science, and we had to learn the weeds. And I identified most of them, or I could learn to do that. But then also the people that I worked with, and through ASHS, and my very first ASHS meeting was as a graduate student, and it was the meeting in Boston. And so we drove over from upstate New York in a car, four of us, and went to the meeting. So
That's wonderful. So how long have you been a member of the ASHS, and how has the society influenced your career?
So I guess I joined in 76 or 1977, so it's a long time. And at that very first meeting, we had a meeting of the ad hoc committee of women in horticulture. So now over half the membership is women. So the women in horticulture have really come a long way. We went from an ad hoc committee, and then we were a working group. And then Mike Neff at one point said, you ladies are, so integrated into the society, we don't need to do that. And I was the vice president of two different divisions. So I was the international division, and then I was the extension division vice president. So I would say, get involved. If somebody asks you to volunteer for something, say yes. And you meet people from all over, and they become your friends. And so you know people all over the world. And I'm not as involved in ASHS as much as I am now in the Florida State Horticultural Society, just because it's closer to home.
Wonderful. So what advice can you offer to student or young professional?
Get involved. Be involved. Go meet people. Get involved. If you can volunteer, go volunteer. And what excites me are the students. So the students are doing some really wonderful stuff. They're doing posters. They do posters for Florida State. They do posters here. They do presentations. And it really gives them a good, solid background to go out and be a professional in horticulture.
So that's the end of our question. You answer the last question even without I am asking it.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.